Yo, what is up, guys? It is SKFC back here with another video. Today, we are going to be talking about Mohamed Salah and the interesting narratives that surround him following the EFL Cup final against Liverpool. Now, for those of you that don't know, Liverpool just played Newcastle last Sunday, and they were definitely the favorites going into the final, and they ended up losing the game 2-1, and this was the performance that Salah had put on in that game. Now, obviously, this doesn't really make for a good reading, and essentially what's going on now is there has been a new kind of narrative to talk about how Salah has performed in his final performance and his final performances. And if you or anyone on Twitter or anyone on social media, you've definitely seen a screenshot that looks something like this. So we see here, we have multiple finals. The guy only has 2 goals and 2 assists in about I think 11 finals for Liverpool and Egypt. So now the conversation, the narrative is simply that this guy is a big game flop, or let me say a finals flop anyway. He doesn't really show up in finals for his club or country. And we're going to look at pretty much every game that he's played and see just how well his performances stack up. So before we even keep going, I just want to establish some ground rules right now. Now, me personally, I'm going to be very honest, I don't care about Super Cups. I don't care about Community Shields. I only need actual legitimate cup finals. So just off the bat, for me saying that, the 2019 Super Cup final, the Club World Cup final, the 2022 Community Shield, I don't care about any of those matches. So I'm just going to take those off the table. We don't care about them. And then also, another caveat here that a lot of people don't talk about is the fact that the 2018 UCL final, that was the game where he got his arm ripped out of his socket by Sergio Ramos. So he only played about 30 minutes. And in the 2022 FA Cup, he only played about 32 minutes as well, because I think he injured his groin or something. So we're not going to look at those matches either because he didn't play enough for it to really matter. So we're really only looking at the 2017 AFCON final, the 2019 UCL final, the 2021 AFCON final, the 2022 League Cup final, the 2022 Champions League final, and obviously we are going to look at the current League Cup final that just happened as well. So our first stop is going to be the 2017 AFCON final. Now this was contested between Egypt and Cameroon. Egypt opened up the scoring, but unfortunately for them, Cameroon had came back and they actually ended up scoring in the last minute to win the game. But we got to talk about what exactly did Salah do in this match. Now, one thing I do actually find interesting about this match is the fact that Salah did not take a single shot in the entire match. And this is partly just because Egypt were by far the more defensive out of the two teams. In fact, they only had 4 shots in the entire game. So I do think that is something to keep in mind as well. Only 43% of the possession. But when I was looking at Salah in this game, the thing that stood out to me the most is just look how many players are, defending him, right? So he clearly doesn't have as much space to work with as what he's usually used to working with, right? And I think probably his best action in this game, outside of obviously getting the assist, was here. I think he had created a chance for one of his teammates that I really think was a pretty decent chance, and he should be doing better in terms of scoring. For some reason, the highlight didn't really show what happened, but I'm going to assume obviously that they didn't score. But you can just see in terms of the quality of the chance itself, he does a good job of with the ball properly. He puts his team in a position. You can kind of see as well, he's playing a lot deeper than you would like. Like usually he likes to operate in these areas here, but his teammates aren't really going to get in the ball. And when the team only has 43% possession, he's going to have to dig deeper to go receive the ball and advance the ball up himself, which you can kind of see from this clip over here. And I believe this was the assist that he ended up getting. So you can see here he kind of passes it, and Elneny actually does a good job himself, to be honest, of getting that goal. So if anything, I'd have to credit Elneny more with the goal than Salah with the pass, because it's a really tight angle. He hits it really high up, and he gets a really powerful shot on it. Now, overall, I think for this first final, I think Salah was largely ineffective. I mean, the guy only had 35 touches in the entire match. Like I said, he didn't really get that many shots off, but he still did get an assist, and he created another good opportunity to score. So I would say this was definitely like a more inoffensive performance, and I would say it was a decent-ish performance. All right, next up we have the 2019 Champions League final. This one was obviously contested between Tottenham and Liverpool. Liverpool were definitely the overwhelming favorites going into this game. And as we know, Salah scored a penalty. These are what his stats look like. I think the thing that stands out to me here is, again, low on the touches. So the first game he had 35. This one he has 28. So we're going to take a look at some tape, see exactly what he was utilizing when he was actually on the ball and what was he actually doing. Okay, so here we obviously have the penalty that he went on to score. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. See, this game, he was definitely, I don't know how to describe what I witnessed in this game. Like, basically, he was just spamming shots. That's the best way I can describe it. Just shot spamming from anywhere. So this is kind of an example of what I'm talking about. So you see here, he gets the ball. Obviously, there's no one really in this passing option because Firmino, who's the striker on paper, is the one that passes him the ball. So then he just decides to go for a random speculative shot, and it just kind of gets blocked, not even in the box. See, at least the first shot, I can kind of understand, because obviously he doesn't really have anything else to do. So it's kind of understandable why, he does what he does in that respect. But then, so you have here, he's shielding the center back off of the ball. So then he is able to create some space. There's 3 other players in the box. So he has passing options to do. And for some reason, he just decides to shoot the ball anyway. Like, I don't understand. I don't know what the rationale behind that decision was. So again, just completely trigger happy, like he's an American. Okay, this was the funniest one out of the 3, and I might move this banner so you can see it, because this one, I don't know what Blow was trying to cook. Like, this is a volley off of probably like a header that blocked the corner. So he's, the ball is settling down, and he just decides to unleash nonsense on this ball for no reason. On this poor ball, I don't know what the ball did. Just sent it into outer space for absolutely no reason. And I'm not gonna lie to you, this game, yeah, he was poor. And don't let this 7.2 fool you because of the penalty. Again, little touches, barely involved. 47% passing accuracy, just shot spamming for no reason. Yeah, I'm looking at him funny with this performance. It's like he's lucky that Liverpool won, because I don't know what he was on when he decided to, play Tottenham in this game. Next up we have the 2021 AFCON final, which was played in 2022 for some weird reason. And this game was between Egypt and Senegal. And obviously the big highlight going into this final was the two Liverpool wide men, Mane and Salah, both battling for African Cup supremacy. And before we get on to Salah's performance, you can see here again, both national teams, Egypt, again, had less ball possession. They had less shots on goal. So, you kind of similar scenes to the first AFCON final that we looked at. See, now this time, he was still definitely the main outlet of this team for Egypt, but he was taking up, some more fluid positions. So you can see him right now, he's lining up centrally. So you can see here, Egypt get the ball to him. This is probably his most impressive play of the game. He receives the ball. There's like 3 Senegalese players that he has to kind of go through. And I do give him kind of credit because you can see he gets the ball, he starts dribbling, and because essentially here he has no passing options, he doesn't really have much to do. So it's either he tries to make something of it himself, or he kind of just holds on and tries to wait for more support, which, to be fair, by then, there'd also probably be more Senegalese defenders coming back as well. So his options wouldn't be that good. You can see he's kind of stumbling. He's looking for space to penetrate. So he kind of sees here, but he's also anticipating that this defender is going to be able to close it down in time. Again, he's just kind of trying to get something off. Now, unfortunately, he doesn't really catch that his teammate was making this run and was probably going to beat this defender. But I'm not really going to be too harsh on him for that because, again, he's literally trying to keep the ball away from 3 people while still trying to get a shot off. So, it is what it is from that standpoint, and he ends up losing the ball. But, again, this is probably more emblematic of, what was going on in these finals. So, again, another clip from this final. So you see here, he's getting the ball from his teammates. Again, note there's, look how many defenders are back. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 defenders back for Senegal. So that's a lot of players that he's going to have to try to get through. He's still kind of just hovering around here. I think he's waiting for something to happen. He just kind of goes himself, I guess, in a sense. And he's able to get a shot off, but it's not exactly the cleanest. But again, there's literally 4 players between him and the goal. So, what can you really do in a situation like that? And I kind of want, and when I watch clips like this, I have a point that I want to make, but I'm going to get to the end of the video before I make it. And again, just kind of even looking from a statistical standpoint here, the thing that stands out to me, first off, he only has 2 shots in the game, only 1 dribble. But that's not really even what I wanted to focus on. Again, with the touches, he has 41 touches, which, is definitely higher than he's had so far in any of the finals that we've looked at, because the first one he had 35 and and the second one he had 28. But the thing that stands out to me when I look at this is the fact that the guy played 120 minutes. So you adding on an extra 25% into this game. So if you were to scale it back to 90 minutes, which is typically what you expect from a normal game, 70% of 90, 75% of 41, you're looking around 30 touches. So again, limited influence in the game. And I understand why. He's the outlet. You can see from that clip, he's the furthest one forward, so he's just not going to be as influential in these games when he's not dropping deep as much. Next up, we have the 2022 League Cup final between Chelsea and Liverpool. So for this game, this was the Salah, Mane, Luis Diaz trio, which was a pretty short-lived trio when you really deepen it. And even just from like a statistical standpoint, you already know what you get. You already know what you're getting with Salah in these finals. Low shot volume, low touches. Again, 48, but he played 120 minutes. So per 90, you're looking at like 36 touches a game. Passing accuracy, 74%. Again, is pretty low for any position, really, to be honest. But the thing that we're going to be looking at again is, let's see, what did it look like for him on the field. So you can kind of see here, he's taking up some central pockets. You have Mane here. So especially when Liverpool were playing kind of on the opposite side, he was more willing to pinch in. And I think one of the things that was also understated was just the fact that Alonso, Chelsea's left back, was doing a pretty good job of, keeping up with, where he was in terms of marking him between him and Rudiger. So you can kind of see here, right? I believe this is Luis Diaz. He does a good job of wiggling his way out of some trouble. And when this happens, Mane is looking for Salah. Alonso sees that he's looking for Salah. Rudiger is just looking more so to mark the space. And again, Alonso does a good job of getting back and making sure that Salah, you can cut off the pass to Salah so Salah doesn't get to do what he wants in terms of getting his shot off. Again, that's also just kind of on his teammates in terms of doing better to finding those spots and finding those passes quicker for Salah. And let's be honest, this is probably even a better example of what I was showcasing earlier. So you see here, so you notice that Mane is dropped deep. So in a situation like this, again, Salah is going to be the one taking up those. Oh, sorry. Wow. I'm embarrassed now. Sorry, Mane's dropped deep here. My apologies. So again, you notice in a situation like this, Salah is going to be willing to go into those central pockets, take up those zones further up the field. And, if you want to really take advantage of his ability to run, then, as his teammate, you have to be able to find him. So you can see here, he's looking to pass that ball. And again, just look at the quality of the pass. Way too freaking far. Salah's not going to get there. It's not a good angle for him to touch. And it just kind of goes out of bounds. Obviously, you can't really isolate every single moment of every single part of the game. But I guess my point is, these are just kind of emblematic of what Salah was dealing with in this final. So again, not effective. Not very good touches. Not very many touches. And was relatively quiet. Last up, we have the 2022 UCL final. So honestly, I actually think he played well in this game. Just a spoiler alert. Like you can kind of even just see here. He had a lot of touches, over 60. He had a lot of shot attempts as well. He was able to generate shots for himself, even created a big chance as well. Honestly, I don't even think we all know the biggest thing with this specific game was that this freaking Belgian guy was on literal demon time. And it was to the point where, he basically just was not going to let anything pass through him. And it was unfortunate because I think Salah had one shot where the Courtois literally had to stretch on the ground to save it. So I genuinely actually do think he played well in this game. But ultimately, this was the game they lost. So no one's really going to care about the fact that he played well. But yeah, no, it is one of those things where, the margins are so thin that you have to make sure that your team is on the winning side. And unfortunately, even though he was easily Liverpool's most dangerous player, because of this Belgian right here, it doesn't really matter. No one's really going to give him the credit for playing well in this specific game. Ultimately, these are going to be my final ranking for his final performances, at least from the finals that actually matter. I think 2025, his current one, getting locked up by Dan Burn, a 6'4" center back that was literally a big backup for Newcastle's actual fullback in Lewis Hall. Unacceptable. 2019, the shot spam was getting annoying. He didn't really do much else outside of that, but it doesn't really matter because they won. 2021 AFCON, he was Egypt's spark, and he was able to create some opportunities for himself, but he didn't really do much outside of that. Limited influence. 2022 EFL, kind of the same ordeal, to be honest. However, I kind of put this one slightly above because one, they actually won the game, and two, his teammates, again, they were setting him up for failure with those trash-ass passes. 2017 AFCON actually created some, good, decent opportunity and got an assist. And then 2022 UCL final, easily his best performance. Was actually a threat the entire time. So I was actually able to create some opportunities. Again, was incredibly unlucky with the performance of Courtois that game. I think overall, the criticism of his final performances, unfortunately for him, is pretty valid. However, he's still only 33, so he still technically has time to turn that around. But that is going to be it for my video today. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know how you guys would rank this list. Let me know if you thought I was too harsh on him. And most importantly of all, remember to have a good day.